Hey guys, welcome to the range. So today we're going to be trying our monolithic bullets. If you're just catching up to this video series, we're going to be using our Tikka T3X chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, and we're going to be checking out these Barnes bullets. So we already talked about the pros and cons to these bullets. So today we're just going to come to the range and see how they group and see what kind of velocities we're getting. So I've done 5 different loads up ranging from 40 grains to 42 grains. And what we're going to do is we're going to start at the low end, work our way across. So there's going to be 5 groups altogether, 5 different loads. And then we're going to go back and start over at our low end and work to our high end. And as we're doing that, we're going to look for pressure signs. And at the end of it, we're going to see how they group, see if there's any kind of harmonic nodes where they're really accurate. And then after that, I loaded an extra round, so we're going to run them through our chronograph here just to see how fast they're flying, because they are lighter bullets, so they should fly a little bit faster. Once that's all done, in the next video, I'm actually going to put it on a ballistic table, because these are basically ballistically inefficient compared to the other bullets. We're going to see what the differences are when you're making a long shot in wind. The other thing that we're going to be checking out, this is a new product, Renewable Lubricants. And I've been searching for a gun oil for a while that doesn't freeze up or gel in cold weather. So today we're at just about freezing temperature. It's about 0 right now, maybe a little bit less. So it's not much of a test, but we're just going to run it today and see how it goes. I'm just going to pay attention to how smooth the bolt is and if anything gels up. So we'll let you know how that goes. So as always, important to keep a logbook, especially when you're doing load development. So I wrote down all the environmentals, the date, what I'm shooting, and obviously important where you're shooting, on which target, and what grain or what load you're using on each target. And I'll just also mention, this is about the only time I like using a bench, is for making sure you have a proper zero or doing load development. Other than that, you're not going to get anything out of shooting off a bench. All the other shooting should be positional, prone, bipod, all that kind of stuff. When doing load developments, like everything else in this game, consistency is key. So after I do a 3-round group, I make sure the bolt is left back, magazine is out, and I actually put my timer on for exactly 5 minutes to let the rifle cool. If it's a really hot day, I may let it cool longer, but in the temperature today, 5 minutes is sufficient, and I'll do that same 5 minutes between each group. So here's the targets at 100 yards. You can see they're all decent groups, nothing really outstanding. So this started out at 40 grains of Hodgdon 4350 and went all the way up to 42, which is right near their recommended max. So I thought I was starting to get tuned in here. This one really tightened up, and I shot these two really nice and tight and then had that flyer, and positive it was not my shooting, it was the load. So I'm going to shoot the ELDX just to make sure the gun is shooting properly, and then I'm going to start the series over. Alright, we're back at the shop. The results are in, and unfortunately for myself, the Barnes bullets did not shoot well. I did not find any really consistent nodes even after my second, what I call the fluke test. So as you can see here, started out at 40 grains, this whole row was 40, then just moved up, so 40 and a half, 41, 41 and a half, and 42 grains of Hodgdon 4350. As you can see, they pull to the right or left depending on the load, and that's the way every gun's going to be. That's why if you do find an ammunition that works for your gun, you should just stick with it, because not only will it affect your elevation hitting high and low, different bullets will go left and right as well, and you got to account for that. So once you find something that shoots well, just stick with it. So none of these in this row were under sub-minute of angle. This one was close, and then when I did my second group, the group really opened up to over 2.7 inches, which is not acceptable at all. I've never shot these Barnes bullets before, so I don't know if the copper fouling is going to be a lot more in my barrel. I'm actually going to clean the rifle tomorrow just to see how much copper I pull out of there. 41 grains came 1.3 inches, and this one was subminute angle at 0.882, but not consistent. And then we moved to 41. Actually did pretty decent here, 0.865. And then the second time around it was 1.8, so not what we're after. Basically 1.5, 1.3. And then right at the end, and this could have been when my barrel was a little bit fouled up, I just shot those ELDX bullets, and I just kind of threw these bullets together. I believe they're 40.5 grains to Hodgdon 4350. And you can see both of them right away are under sub-minute of angle. So this gun appears to like the ELDX bullets a lot better than the Barnes bullets. And it could be for a number of reasons. The one thing about the Barnes bullets as well is it recommends you seating the bullet further into the case. And so there's a lot more jump when the gun goes off. So a lot more jump between when the bullet starts and when it eventually engages the lands or the rifling of the bullet. So that may explain why we have some inconsistencies here. But the other thing that was interesting was the velocities, and I used my lab radar, which is always proven very accurate. And what I did is I started out again at 40 grains, worked my way up to 42, and you'll see here I had a fairly standard velocity. I increased it half a grain and it actually decreased the velocity, so I could put a question mark by it. I'm confused by that. Again, it could be copper fouling in the barrel, I don't know. 41 grains jumped up to 200, basically 2600 and a half. And then the next one that bumped up half a grain, it actually went back to 2445 feet per second. Can't figure that one out. And then at 42 grain, it jumped up to 2700 feet per second. So something's not right there. Could be copper fouling. Could be the fact that we're getting inconsistent velocities because it's not hitting the lands or the rifling straight. I really don't know what to say. If you guys have any ideas, if you've experienced this with these bullets, please let me know. But as of now, I talked about making a drop chart up and figuring out wind deflection and all that. I'm not even going to bother. This gun did not like the Barnes bullets at all. So this concludes our little video series on monolithic bullets.